Okay. Got to get in the right headspace for it. Hello, everybody.
Yes, indeed.
Welcome to whatever this is, episode 3 for the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I got it right. Episode premiered on Friday. We're recording today. I'm Ben. This is my friend Efrain.
Happy Easter, everyone.
Happy Easter, because we're recording this on Sunday.
Easter Sunday episode.
Yeah. Which is a little disappointing because we both kind of came out of episode 3 a little off kilter. Like, this episode just didn't, like, I feel bad saying that it didn't work because then you immediately jump to the, like, well, this episode was stupid, and I don't think that by any means.
No, not by any means whatsoever.
If the
like
if the previous episodes were like 6 and 7s out of 10s, this is like a 5-ish area. Like, again, it just didn't feel right for me for some reason.
They just I don't know. It's like they put a little too much into this episode. I know the episode was a lot longer than like
almost
the other
an hour.
two. Yeah, it was almost an hour long.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the reintroduction to Helmet Zero, but the official introduction to Baron Zemo.
Yes.
Because, all of a sudden,
and that's
like Sam said, you've been rich this whole time. He's like, I am a Baron.
Yeah, I was a Baron the whole time.
I was a Baron the whole time.
My family was royalty until my country was destroyed.
Until your friends destroyed my country. He always has to jab it in there.
This episode has a lot of really good Zemo in it. And as someone who fell in love with Zemo and Marvel's Thunderbolts comic books, like I'm very, like, I was super happy when he got the coat, when he mentioned being a Baron, when he goes to grab the mask, the moments of small, like, psychological digs that he makes throughout in everybody, that air of I'm the smartest man in the room, regardless of who I'm in the room with, and I will play every situation to my benefit, was great.
He's a pretty habitual, like, what I like to say, like, he's a pretty habitual line stepper.
Yeah.
Like, he'll be like, yes, I am working with you. But at the same time, he'll kind of, like, take a shot at Sam. Well, he'll take a shot at Bucky. He'll take a shot at Cap.
Well, and the moment in the plane when...
who is Nakajima or something like that.
Nakajima.
And then, Bucky just automatically grabs him.
Well, and even, like, playing Sam and Bucky against each other talking about Marvin Gaye. And, and not just being like, oh, I like Marvin Gaye, but giving an actual, like, critical examination of Marvin Gaye's music. Like I said, just Sam being like, he's out of line, but he's on point. But like,
right.
That's, that's exactly the kind of character Zemo is in the comics. So like I said, I really loved watching Zemo kind of play everybody to some degree.
Like he always does. Daniel Bruhl's a really good actor.
Yeah.
He's good at that kind of plotting. Like, Zemo is on the line of, like, you can't, not if, but when exactly is he going to, like, do things his own way? Because, he has a ploy. He definitely has a ploy. That's how he did them in Civil War. So, like, he definitely has a plan, whether it's long-term or short-term plan. Yeah, we'll find out. It's 3 episodes left, so, like, when are we going to find out? Because, like we said, like, before, this episode kind of had a lot of stuff in it.
Well, and that's, like I said, the reason that WandaVision worked so well for me was because the show was very much focused on its 2 characters, Wanda and Vision. And it had other interesting things going on, but everything circled those characters, whether they were in control of them. Yes. Bucky and Falcon, or Falcon and Bucky, feels really like it's kind of losing the plot a little bit to me. It was one, like, going into it, I was expecting the Falcon and Bucky, and we would uncover things as we went on. And then, like, the first episode does a really good job introducing their characters and introducing their drama, and then we get John Walker, and then we get Battlestar, and then we get Isaiah, and now we get Zemo, and now we get
Sharon Carter,
we get the Power Broker, we get the Scientist, we get Madripoor, we get Carly Morgenthau, there we go.
Even though he died, like, the Zemo shot him, the Scientist, he made this super soldier serum.
And there's so much going on at this point in these episodes. and it feels like Sam and Bucky are like out of their depth.
Yeah, we're sort of losing
Completely.
touch with the two main characters.
Yeah.
You know?
And to some degree, episode 3, I feel like did that intentionally, because a bit of it was Zemo playing with the idea of, is Bucky the Winter Soldier? Can you trust him? There's a couple moments where Zemo keeps going like, oh, it looks like the Winter Soldier's not... That's terrible Sokovian accent. I'm going to giving up on that now.
Yes, indeed.
There are a couple moments where Zemo says to Sam, I think he's out of control, or man, it sure was easy to get him to act like the Winter Soldier again.
In the bar, yeah.
So, like, he's clearly trying to drive a wedge between these two men, but I also don't really feel like the last 2 episodes established a strong bond between these two men. It's really been... The previous 2 episodes have been highlighting their differences, and that they get on each other's nerves, and that they can work together well when they have a common mission, but how they accomplish that goal is completely different for these two characters.
You're really hoping, at a time they kind of hoping that happens before at least the last episode or the last 2 episodes, you know, that they can kind of settle their certain differences and not bicker throughout every episode. Like, as much as we love these two characters, like, constant bickering can get a little tiresome.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, just working together because you guys know you have similarities, especially when it comes to Cap. So, like, hopefully soon they'll bury their differences.
Well, it having the two characters be at each other's throats the whole time also makes those brotherly moments when they're at each other's throats less effective.
And that's the thing, is we're kind of getting lost in that in this episode. You're introducing all these plot threads, but, like, kind of in a way missing the main plot thread, which is about your 2 title characters.
Yeah. This episode was a lot more about plot focus and exposition as opposed to the character work, because that was one of the things that I felt was really odd when they blow up Nigel's lab, and then, like, they're leaving Madripoor, Nagel's lab, I'm sorry. And Sam looks at Bucky, and Sam's still thinking about Isaiah's situation and
that
how
they just called him a test subject.
He was just an American test subject. He wasn't even a person. And I'm not saying that through line shouldn't exist, and it's clearly bothering Sam.
Yeah.
But it's also, it doesn't feel like anything in this episode justified that keeping her on. I don't know. It almost felt like it came out of nowhere, of just like, that's what you're thinking about? Like, you just promised Sharon a pardon, traveled to another country, helped murder a guy accidentally, maybe, but still, you don't know where you're going.
The guy that created all new super soldier serum.
Yeah, you don't know where you're going, and you're allied with a criminal. Like, and that's the thing that you're still emotionally hung up on.
Bothering you after all this type of stuff.
Yeah,
like.
And I'm not saying it shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it should, but for that to be, I guess, the very first thing you bring up.
Yeah, the second you get a moment to breathe. After all this stuff
literally just happened.
You go, oh, man, it's fucked up what they did to Isaiah. It just seems to miss I don't know, Sam doesn't feel present in episode 3. Like, I mean...
He wasn't even Sam, he was Smiling Tiger.
Yeah. I've already seen...
That drink was gross.
The drink was fantastic. Like, this episode was one of the funniest episodes.
I like this stuff.
Yeah. And then watching him, like, struggle to, like, shoot it back. Fantastic.
Yeah, seeing Bucky's face, like, he's about to puke.
Yeah. Well, you could see Bucky being like, yeah, screw you. Like, I'm glad you get to do this and not me.
That was great.
That Smiling Tiger is an actual comic book character.
I figured. I kind of figured.
I already saw theories online that people have been like, maybe he's a Thunderbolts person. There was a brief period of time in the, like, just when Marvel Civil War event was happening, where Zemo made a deal with the U.S. government that he would supply them with an army of superhumans, and he basically deputized the supervillain community of the Marvel Universe. And if you allied with Zemo, you got a pardon, and you would have to attack whoever the U.S. government told you to attack. And Smiling Tiger was a former member of the Folding Circle, which was a New Warriors villain group. He hasn't appeared since New Warriors was canceled.
Wow.
In, like,
and they actually
95?
mentioned him in this? Wow.
Yeah. And he was like, he looked like a cat guy.
That's crazy.
Who had, like, yellow hair, and he either had on a face mask or a really weird face where he just had, like, a smile, like a red smile,
Like a Cheshire?
like a Cheshire cat smile, but with no teeth, and it was just red.
Oh, that's
and then
really
like red
strange.
eyes, and he had like sharp claws.
Oh, that sounds really strange.
But in terms of this, we're gonna set this character up as a Thunderbolt. I was definitely like, please don't.
Like, no, why? That's such a, out of all the Thunderbolts characters you can introduce.
Yeah.
That's extremely random.
It to me, it would be like launching the Avengers movies with D-Man as part of the cast, and like, I get it. He's someone's favorite character, but like, please.
No, I think it's somebody they just threw in there.
Yeah, I think it was a name that they're like, we're never gonna do a folding circle.
It's gonna be his nickname.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
We're just gonna play with the concept, which is fine. So like I said, that was a cute joke. Going to Madripoor was great.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
As someone who loves Asian culture,
pirate city,
yeah,
basically.
I loved seeing like the Asian motorcycles roll up, the music that was going on, the Princess Bar, which is Logan's haunt on Madripoor in the X-Men comics, was great.
Nice little tag there.
Yeah, I saw that, and it was one of those like ooh 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 kind of moments where my wife's just looking at me, and I'm like, I'll tell you later.
X-Men related.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Everybody's gonna freak out because they'll be crying about X-Men stuff.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that was neat. I've already seen theories of people thinking that Sharon Carter might be the power broker. I won't say that's impossible. Yeah. I don't know why she would have done any of the things that she did if she was the power broker.
If she was the power broker, like, would she introduce Bucky and Sam into that,
yeah,
lifestyle if she was like that? I mean, introduce already telling them that basically she has real Monets.
Yeah, why
shit like that?
Well, because like when they go to the bar and they say, "Hey, we're here to see Selby," you see Sharon like pull her hood down and like turn and walk away. So either Sharon didn't want to be found by these people, or she was the power broker and she was leaving so that then she could like put the hit out on them or whatever. But if she was going to put the hit out on them, why would she defend them when they came under attack by bounty hunters? Why would she lead them to Nagel?
It'd be a good way to, kind of not guess as to who she was. Kind of cover that up.
Sure, but for me,
I don't know if she'd be that sadistic though.
Well, and it's still a matter of like, if you just wanted to get Sam and Bucky out of there, wouldn't it have been easier to just be like, I can't find them?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like, kick them out on the... Like, poison them with their drinks. Like, I don't know. In terms of...
drug them and kick them out?
Yeah. Like, you don't even have to keep them. Just drug them and put them on a plane in the morning. And sure, maybe they'll come back, but, like, at least then you could have time to repair. You could move Nagel, whatever. Yeah, I don't personally buy the idea. It's definitely suspicious because after her big fight scene, she goes to that car and she's like, "We got problems," and like goes to leave. So I'm assuming she's going to continue to be involved. But again, introducing her here felt weird.
Yeah.
I liked her new bitter character though. Like, that was interesting. I loved Sam's like, she's awful.
Yeah. When she was talking about Bucky and
Well, and it's kind of cool to see, because obviously the show's dealing with a lot of Steve's legacy and what does it mean to be a hero.
And what she did.
And what she did was legitimately heroic, and she has been punished for it, and it's cost her everything. As has, from Zemo's perspective, he did something heroic, and it cost him. Bucky, Sam, all of these characters are dealing with what it means to be a super soldier, what the world looks like with super soldiers in place, what happens when you exist in those systems or outside of them. So again, it's cool to see Sam struggling with what does it mean to be Captain America, and having a character who had so much faith in Captain America that she broke the law and stole all their shit and went on the run and became a criminal, be like, it's all bullcrap.
Is and was, there's a difference.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly what she said.
Yeah, that's super neat. But like I said, this episode felt really off for me. Carly murdered somebody. A whole bunch of somebodies.
Yes, she did.
So we go from...
Well, that's the thing, you go from, like, are you sympathizing with her because she's helping these people, and then, all of a sudden she blows up people. And then even her, right hand man is like, there was people there. Like, what the hell are you doing? She's like, hey, this is how they want to play. You know, this is the business. And it's like, okay, what kind of character are you trying to be? Are you trying to be sympathetic one end and then you're like ruthless the other end? Like,
well, that's,
you know, why am I caring about your situation at the moment?
Well, that I won't say that I don't think that made sense, because they wanted you to sympathize with her to begin with, would be my guess. They want you to look at what she's doing, and we even had Sam and Bucky in episode 2 be like, she's trying to get medicine to sick people. Doesn't sound like a bad thing to me. But now she has done something bad.
Yeah.
This has gone from, oh, you're Robin Hood, to, oh, you're a terrorist.
Yeah.
That can't stand. We're going to have to do something about it. And we didn't only see her escalate. We saw John Walker escalate.
Oh, yeah. The guy spit right in his face.
Oh.
You know who I am? He's like, I do. I just don't care. He's like, I don't give a shit who you are. You ain't Cap.
It doesn't even matter if they put you in that suit and they call you Captain America.
He's like, I don't care, bitch. I spit in your face.
You're just an American brute.
Exactly. It's like, you ain't Cap. I ain't afraid of you. Who are you? Yeah, that was a hell of an insult.
Well, and it's one of those things that made me think of, like, I bet if he had been in control of the situation, I think Steve would have gone in there undercover. He'd have been in plain clothes. He'd have showed up. He'd have asked his questions. Somebody at some point would have been like, "You're Captain America," and he'd be like, "I just want to figure out what's going on." Like, again, it's highlights, and admittedly, I'm just making that up. That's just fanfic at this point. But we're definitely seeing the differences between Steve Rogers bursting into and trying to talk a situation down, and John Walker's bursting into and escalating a situation because he thinks he deserves respect that he may not have earned at this point.
Exactly. He's never going to earn the same respect that Cap did, and he never will. These dudes are not fucking afraid of his ass.
It was a small thing, but after they finish that scene and he's talking with Lamar, there's a moment where John's just like it looks like he's struggling to keep it together a little bit. And, you know, I don't know if maybe he just had a really crappy experience and it was frustrating, or, again, still rolling with that idea of maybe he's working on whatever super juice the power broker had. Maybe he's going through withdrawal and he's losing control a little bit.
It's like what Bucky said to him the episode before, you know, this must be really intense for you. It's like, this is a lot of the shit that, like, you haven't dealt with yet.
Yeah.
So, and then they found out that, like, they possibly freed Zemo, so, like, are they gonna try and find them to work the case? Because he was talking about, like, you know, they have to kind of go off grid.
Yeah.
Also,
well, that's when he was like, we will bet on someone who has a better hand. They had already hinted with episode 2 that they were basically going to follow Sam and Bucky's path anyways.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be more along that line, but I think due to the events of Madripoor, which we showed were being filmed, which means it's probably going to hit the internet, which means people are probably going to know about it, and I'm going to guess that Sam and Bucky are probably criminals again. So I think when John and Lamar show up next time, it's not going to be, hey guys, can't we all be pals? It's going to be...
Sam did say that when What's-Her-Name was killed, he's like, they're going to pin this on us.
Yeah.
So...
Exactly. And it's going to be, you're under arrest, you need to come with me, and it's going to be a more higher stakes conflict.
Yeah. Big conflict. 3 more episode conflict.
I don't know about that.
Not a 3-episode conflict, possibly the next one.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So I'm just still curious on how they're going to wrap everything up. Unless this episode's going to be, you know, longer than the one that just happened.
Well, I'm getting the feeling that we're going to get like a WandaVision style ending where it's going to be less of everything wraps up and more things are set up for the next thing.
A continuation of the next thing.
I don't think Zemo's story is going to end.
No, I don't believe so.
I think he's being set up to do something else, whatever that is.
That's what I'm wondering, where it's going to continue.
Yeah. Especially, I could spend hours theorizing where Zemo could show up and the things that he could do. I could write that fanfic all day. I've tried to do Zemo fanfics before, so believe me, I could do that kind of stuff.
Zemo can show up in... I don't know. Will he free Abomination and She-Hulk? I don't know. Form the Masters of Evil?
That's
That'd be kind of cool.
It would be pretty dope. I would not mind that at all.
Pretty dope.
What was I going to say? Oh, when Nagel was talking about the super soldier serum. Hello, go. Yay.
I got his attention.
He did specifically say that the sample he got from Isaiah was semi-stable, which to me implies that it is not a 100% recreation of the original super soldier serum, which again to me could imply that maybe there's problems with it that we haven't seen yet that might resolve the Flag Smasher situation without Bucky and Sam having to do too much. I could see it. We kind of saw Brain, where are we going with this sentence? In the Incredible Hulk movie, the Abomination, Emil Blonsky, was injected with a super soldier serum variant.
Yes.
And it made him more, but it was unstable. And it turned him into a monster instead of turning him into a super soldier.
Started turning him into a creature.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, because even, what's his name said it to him, you got something else in you too.
Sam Stearns.
Yeah,
you got a little something else in you.
The leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would not be terribly surprised if this variant of the super soldier serum maybe makes you unstable, maybe drives you to more violent acts, and that's why Carly was more willing to blow something up. Like, maybe she took the serum before her fellows did, and it's beginning to break down. It could just be...
It could
Yeah.
be messing with their mind.
Yes, which could also explain John's violent behavior when interrogating that, internet hostile, whatever it was supposed to be. Potentially. Again, I feel like I'm reaching with that, but that's part of the fun for me.
Exactly.
But,
I mean, we'll see if they delve into that. So...
Well, and that's something that I think is going to end here. Because, Nagel straight up said, I only made 20 samples. Carly's group had a bunch. She stole what was left, in theory. So, there's a certain degree of, I don't think this is going to make it out of the show. It could, and someone else could recreate it. I mean, they pulled Nagel out of nowhere, so there's enough super scientists in the Marvel Universe that you could do that kind of thing.
That's true. Or could it be done? Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hydra, AIM. If we're bringing back the Abomination, in theory, you could introduce Sam Stearns as the leader. He has worked with AIM before. I think he's worked with AIM before. So, I mean, again, if we're going to play around with those pre-existing concepts, you could do something like that relatively easily.
Would they go into that in the MCU?
I have no idea. At this point, I have no idea.
Yeah. There's no telling where exactly they're going to go.
Yeah, we saw Wanda go from a grieving superhero to a potentially insane madwoman in the space of a show. I don't know.
That's true.
In theory...
The thing is, though, we knew she was going to be a part of Doctor Strange, too.
Sure.
So, that until us leading from her to be this type of person into leading the Scarlet Witch, and then now Scarlet Witch being in Doctor Strange, the story that we're being introduced to Falcon and Winter Soldier, there's no telling where the story is gonna go moving forward.
Yeah.
We mostly thought this was basically going to be about Falcon and Bucky kind of sharing the conflict and the burden of replacing Cap, and at the end of this series, officially, I guess, Sam being the new Captain America.
Sure.
But, I don't know, with this episode, I'm not saying we're getting lost in translation, but, I don't know. They're trying to introduce all these different elements that, are we going to at least have some of these resolved by the end of the series?
Yeah.
And the ones that are left open continue on somewhere else?
It would be really weird if this series ended with Sam being like, you know what, I should be Captain America. And then it goes to black, and then it's like, to be continued elsewhere.
Henry Jackman music.
Yeah. It would be a real jerk move to do that.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is...
Holding the shield.
Yeah. Like I said,
roll credits.
We don't know where these characters are going to show up again. We don't have a new Avengers product in the work as far as we know. Everything that Marvel's announced has been MCU related for sure, and there are places I could see Captain America or Bucky showing up, but nothing where they would be like driving the narrative. Again, we have no new Avengers movie in the works or anything like that, so maybe this doesn't end with... I assume he takes the shield, but that's a big assumption.
Yeah. We're all assuming that, but then, like, where's it gonna go from there?
Yeah.
Is he going to be introduced somewhere else as Captain America? And who knows where?
Yeah.
Yeah, so... I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully the next episode is, like you said, we enjoyed this episode. Like, the fight scenes were really cool.
Oh, sure.
But, like, just kind of threw a bunch of stuff together.
And... There was a lot of stuff that I feel like this episode kind of focused on unnecessary elements. I can't help but think of, when we're driving into Madripoor and we're getting all these, like, glamour shots of the city and there's the music playing in the background and it's a cool moment, but do we need it?
Yeah.
And then you get the moment when Zemo, Sam, and Bucky are going to see Selby, and you get this, like, slow-mo shot of we're walking down the hallway and there's orchestral music playing, and I'm like, what is this showing me? Like, you showed me that Madripoor is full of crime, drugs, and money. I saw that with your last musical sting. Why is this happening? And then in the end, when you do the Sharon Carter fight scene, defending them in Nagel's bunker...
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't want to see Sharon in action, but what's the point of this scene? Why is this happening?
As cool as it was.
Yeah, why didn't, instead of that, why wouldn't you just have Sam leave Bucky and Zemo to guard as well? Why do all three of them need to be in there to question Nagel? There's just a degree of, like, it felt bloated more than any of the previous episodes did.
Yeah, it did feel kind of bloated.
And not bloated in a way that helps the story, just bloated. Again, it's cool moments, but it's cool moments is what Michael Bay does. That's what Zack Snyder does. It's not necessary, but it's cool. And it was cool to see Sharon get a chance to kick some ass, but, like, I just think you could have put a better situation there.
Yeah, could have saved it for something a lot cooler and more necessary.
Yeah, it's...
in a way. There's guys coming. I'm gonna beat the shit out of them.
Oh, and then, guess what? More guys are coming.
More guys are coming.
I'll keep beating the shit out of them, everybody.
I'm gonna show how fucking awesome of a fighter I've become. It's like, okay, yeah. It's like, we get it. She's Sharon Carter. She's badass. But, like, yeah. Like you said, like, all three of them had to go and, like, leave her there. Yeah.
And I could understand, well, you don't want to send Zemo in alone. You don't trust him.
Obviously.
Yeah, you could send probably Bucky in alone and probably be fine. Like, Bucky hadn't been shown to be violent on his own other than helping Zemo escape. The Zemo escape thing, again, was fun to watch, and it was a cool way to inform us of how he escaped.
Yeah.
But why was Bucky having that conversation? Like, the conversation between Bucky and Sam felt the most off to me right there. Bucky never presents a good argument. Sam, like, nothing ever wins Sam over. And even with the idea of, well, Zemo's out, I don't need your permission anymore because he's here. It just felt like weak. It felt weak to me. A lot of the motivations.
That's the thing. Like, he basically does not talk to Sam about getting Zemo out because that conversation was about how he got Zemo out. But yet he still keeps digging him about the shield. But it's not a problem. Like, basically, like Sam said, was the guy that killed King T'Chaka and framed Bucky for it. But yet, that's not a big deal to him.
Yeah.
Because they need him. It's like, no, that should be a way more big deal than you might think. This is the guy who basically turned you back into the Winter Soldier to attack, like, the freaking base and everything.
Yeah.
But yet, like, no, completely ignore that because you need him now.
Well, and there are so many moments in this episode that do that. Like, like Bucky, I think it's during that scene, Bucky tells Sam, like, man, I know you risked your life. I know you did this to save me.
Yeah, that was the same scene.
And I need you to do it again. And I'm just like, how is that a compelling argument?
Yeah, how is that a compelling argument when Sam is completely against, like, everything he just did? And he basically told him that fact, but brush it off.
And they do the same thing later with Sharon.
I need you to break the law again.
Yeah, like, when Sharon's like, are you haggling with my life? And Sam's like, no, I'm not haggling with your life. And then Sharon's like, well, I'm not doing it for free. And then Sam's like, well, then I'll give you a deal. I will haggle with your life.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Fine, I'll try and get you a pardon. Yeah, you're going to try and get her a pardon, but yet you basically just told Bucky that you'd break the law, and now you're telling Sharon, I'll get you a pardon.
Yeah.
But I just broke the law.
And Sharon agrees to it. Like, she goes through this whole rigmarole.
She's an agent.
Yeah.
Like, you think she would know better. Like, how... She used to be a former agent. How did she figure that Sam has... Like, Sam's a hero, but how did she figure Sam has the power to have her pardoned?
Sam can't even get a home loan at this point.
He can't even get a loan. He's the Falcon.
Yeah.
He can't even get a loan.
They pardoned Bucky because he would probably murder everybody if they didn't. Like, jeez.
Yeah, it's not very... There's not really a lot of compelling arguments, like, in this episode. Like,
this was definitely a, like, we need to get the work done in this episode.
Yeah.
As opposed to, we need to do really good character trauma and make these characters make sense. Yeah, it's just a little frustrating.
Yeah,
like,
it kind of is.
This is the most let down I've been.
I didn't quite explore that, like, in depth until now, you know, just to basically think about how kind of silly the situations are in this episode.
Yeah.
In a way. Like, and it was kind of, in a way, as awesome as Baron Zemo is, to also, like, kind of introduce him as, you know, I am a Baron. It's like, I'm a Baron, you know, besides being a special ops, you know, team leader of the group known as Scorpion. You know, I'm also a Baron, so, you know. Yes,
and like what a Baron, right?
He's
like,
been rich this whole time.
Joins the military, like defends his country, like
exactly.
You know,
like wow. You know,
if this were set in Sokovia and not America, Zemo would be a goddamn hero.
He's and he's rich, and he has all that mad car collection.
Yeah,
like wow.
He's Tony Stark meets Captain America, but minus the suits.
He's Tony Stark meets Captain America. Exactly, I guess. Since he was rich, I guess, like, Wanda and Pietro were so poor that they'd never heard of Zemo? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I get the feeling that Zemo's probably one of those, like a distant member of, like, the English royal family kind of thing, of, like, you got name and you got money and you got land, but, like, you just mind your own business and do your own thing.
Basically.
You keep staying rich.
He's in another part of Sokovia. I guess that's how big Sokovia was.
Yeah. And that's actually one of the things that I like is the idea that he's this patriotic about, like, oh, you destroyed my country, you a-holes. But then the flip side of it is, like, your country was war-torn before the Avengers ever got there. Like, I didn't see you saving Pietro and Wanda. Like,
exactly.
They were escaping into sitcoms, buddy. Like, they got fish for Halloween. Like, step up your game, royalty, you jerk.
That's true. It's like, no, my country was war-torn, but your friends completely destroyed it.
Which, I'm not saying they didn't. I'm just saying...
You didn't go to the memorial, did you? Of course you didn't.
I thought that was a nice little, like...
It was a nice little thing, but at the same... It was a dig, but at the same time, I'm thinking, well, technically, Sam and Bucky weren't a part of that whole...
Yeah.
You know, thing.
I had the same...
in Age of Ultron.
I had the same thought.
So, yeah, I was like, so technically, like, they didn't, you know... Technically didn't have to visit the memorial because they didn't have a part to do with that.
Well, there's a degree, like, of
how... At the same time, like, you know, it's Sokovia, which was a big deal in Civil War.
Yeah. So. Well, there was a for me, like, there's a degree in there of, like, we don't know how much the public knows about the Ultron situation. Like, all the public may know is that the Avengers accidentally created Ultron, and then Ultron destroyed Sokovia. So if you're an Avenger, you're just guilty by association. As the audience, we got to be there next to the Avengers and see that Tony Stark pushed for this. Tony Stark put the pieces in place that then created Ultron. You know, I would also argue most of us would agree that Ultron chose to do those things. The Avengers didn't. And, you know, the Avengers tried to save lives. Again, it's the idea of where does your culpability lie? The people who made the systems that made the villain to do the thing, or the villain who chose to do the thing when presented with better options?
Zemo's, or not Zemo's, Strucker's main headquarters was there. So,
yeah.
Maybe it was funded by Zemo.
Sure. And that's in the comics.
I mean,
Zemo's
Bucky
family
did say he was obsessed with Hydra.
Yeah.
So, like...
In the comics, Bucky's family did work with Hydra during the Second World War. His father was Helmet. He's Helmet. Crap, what was his father's name? Heinrich. His father was Heinrich Zemo, and he fought Captain America during World War II.
Yes.
That's why Heinrich had the purple sock on his face.
He had the long one.
Yeah. He had like some kind of chemical got spilt on his face, and then he put that on to like try and like wipe it off, and instead it just like burned to his skin. And then so Helmet wore it in remembrance of his father. But yeah, they both got rich off Hydra money in the comics. How much is the Baron connected with Hydra in this? I don't know. He's in the comics. He's been tied to the Hydra recently during Nick Spencer's Captain America run, which featured Sam Wilson as Captain America. But Zemo, for a long time there, from probably like the mid '80s through the early 2000s, was his own guy. Like there was literally, excuse me. There's literally a fight scene with Captain America in an annual where Helmet looks at him and he's like, "My father's beef was with you. I have bigger problems, and my problems are the globe. So, Captain America, goodbye, I'm out."
You just peace out.
Yeah, he's like, "Deal with my exploding castle base in South America. I've got a world to take over." He goes, "Auf Wiedersehen," and he GTFOs.
Auf Wiedersehen.
So there's definitely a degree of like Zemo will kill you, but Zemo has bigger fish to fry than just you at the same time.
Which I guess he does kind of have that attitude in this episode. Kind of leading them on in a way.
Well, it was a small thing, but when they're fighting in the bar, there's a moment where Zemo just reaches into the crowd, grabs a guy, and throws him at Bucky. There's definitely a degree of like he wanted to bring out that training. Yeah. He's trying to show Sam the Winter Soldier's still in there. Even if the Winter Soldier's not, he wants Sam to think it is. And maybe to some degree he wants Bucky back in that mindset because he's easier to control when he's the Winter Soldier.
It's possible, yeah.
So yeah, Zemo's
he's doing a little
absolutely
bit of
a manipulative dick.
Yes, he is a manipulative dick, and he knows it too.
But that's the stuff that I fell in love with about him. Like he's just so smart, jerk of a character.
He is. He's a smart. Yeah, exactly.
His goal is to save the world and have you thank him for it, even if you wouldn't.
It's like you're going to owe me. I'm going to do something good, but you're going to owe me later.
Yes. Well, that's even at the end when Sam's like, "You're going back to jail," and he's like, "Look, you got to get to the next location.
Exactly.
I can help you get there.
Need me.
You need me, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I got this sweet car. Let's go."
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, that was great. Like I said, there's a lot of great moments in this, but this was definitely for me the weakest Disney Plus MCU thing that I've seen so far, which is still not terrible.
Yeah, which is still not terrible.
It's no Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode.
Yeah, exactly. So but yeah, it had a couple of plot indirections, which can be easily fixed in the next episode. Hopefully, we know they'll obviously get better. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, overall it was decent. But I don't know if last week we talked about so when they introduced Isaiah, I read online that the kid was Eli.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we talked about that last episode.
I don't think we talked about it.
And I'm like, oh yeah, because I read it. I was like, oh shit, that was Eli, huh? Damn, yeah. It's Patriot.
You might remember back when at the end of WandaVision, I pitched what I thought this show would be, and I thought Zemo I thought Zemo would reveal Isaiah was a former test subject for the Super Soldier Serum, so we could introduce Eli, so we could continue to set up the Young Avengers. And I mean, we've got Isaiah. We know that his blood contains the unstable Super Soldier Serum. How much of that went to his kid? Yeah. How much of that went to his grandkid? Is his grandkid going to get his hands on a Power Broker sample? Don't know. Out of all of the Young Avengers, Eli's probably the most retired out of all. Like, literally another character is Patriot in the comics right now. Introduced during Nick Spencer's run on Captain America. So, you know, if we're introducing the classic Young Avengers lineup, Eli should definitely...
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Well, that's, you know, in theory, word on the street is we're going to see Kid Loki in the Loki TV show, and he was a part of the second group of Young Avengers.
Yeah.
Word on the street is we might see America Chavez in Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
and
I heard about that.
She was a part of that group of Avengers as well.
Kate Bishop is in Hawkeye.
Kate Bishop, Wiccan and Speed from
Billy
WandaVision.
and Tommy.
Which just leaves Cassie Lang, who
Hoagland.
in theory we'll see again in Ant-Man
because
3.
they recast her.
Yeah.
So she's going to be a bigger part because of the actress they got.
Which means we haven't seen Hulkling yet. And
yet.
And we haven't seen Iron Lad. But again, we're getting Kang in Ant-Man 3.
We're getting Secret Invasion. We're getting, you know, Armored Wars. We're getting Ironheart.
It definitely feels like the pieces are being set up for a Young Avengers
Miss Marvel
project.
Series, so they can
Yes.
you know, put different characters on a Young Avengers team.
Yeah, and that's like I said, there's enough characters that exist who were the first generation of Young Avengers that you could do the classic lineup. In theory, they're introducing a lot of the second generation characters, so you could do that lineup. Or if you want to include characters like Ironheart or Miss Marvel, you could just make up your own lineup, kind of like what they've largely done with the Avengers for most of the movies, and be like, floop it. We want Miss Marvel in this team. She's never been a Young Avenger, but it doesn't matter because we want her. I did not know this, but Karli Morgenthau is actually Carl Morgenthau from the comic books, who was the Flag Smasher.
I read that.
Who was a big burly dude in a white and black costume. So this was one of the most drastic Marvel redos of the character I've seen.
Drastic redo, very much so.
But you know, it for the most part it works. Like, I feel like
we'll see.
I feel like the core of this show is Sam needing to realize that Captain America isn't an icon. Captain America's a man. And I think it's Karli needs to realize that only by becoming an icon can she actually change the world. Like, you need to invert their stories so that they complement each other's narrative. So when Sam goes to stop Karli, Karli is a faceless flag smasher. The things that she does, it's not important that she does them, it's important that someone does them, regardless of what it costs them. Where for Sam, he's doing the exact same thing, but as far as we would take it, more noble reasons. And this episode tries to give Karli motivation with Donya, her mother figure, dying. The idea that, you know, her bright future as a teacher is maybe gone.
She blew up some people.
Yeah, and that's when the one dude's like, you know, maybe you'll be a teacher after this after all. Like, isn't that great?
He's like, all right.
And you can see her being like,
yeah, probably not.
No, ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, it's like not right now. No.
In the words of Dr. Horrible, there is no happy ending for me. But that's I want. Yeah. We got so much focus on John Walker in episode 2. I feel like I want more time with Karli as, in theory, our main villain, to flesh her out some more. Will we get it? Again, we have 3 episodes left. This episode, Episode 1 was Sam and Bucky. Episode 2 was really John. Episode 3, as far as I'm concerned, was Baron Zemo.
Which wasn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Zemo's cool.
Well, now you have to set up his relationship with them. So yeah. I'm not saying I don't get it, but I definitely felt like he stole the show from them for this episode. And with John stealing the show last episode, let's get back on track. Lead characters.
You introduced both Zemo and Sharon Carter, in the same episode.
Yeah.
You know, trying to fill certain things, and maybe if, they, I don't know, had waited a little bit to kind of have Zemo, shine a light on a few things, you know, as awesome as he was in this episode, could have fleshed him out a little more after they got him out of prison.
Yeah.
It's they got him out of prison, and he was Zemo as cool as he was, but like he was just another prop in the episode, like to say, here's Zemo.
Well, that's again, I think they have to do a lot of character work to take him from what we knew in Civil War to what they want him to be in whatever it is he's doing moving forward. And this episode set a lot of that story in motion. I don't know. I almost think that if Sharon Carter wasn't their contact in Madripoor, like, I almost wonder if it would have made more story sense if Zemo had instead gone to, like, the number 2 person in Madripoor and been like, look, it'll benefit you if we take down Power Broker's power structure. You help us instead. Like, I don't know. I feel like it would have made more sense in terms of Zemo manipulating people.
Yeah.
To find someone he could manipulate instead of just being like, I guess Sharon Carter will work, whatever. Like, she seems to have contacts, I guess. Like,
it'll focus more on his type of character.
Yeah, it would focus...
he did something like that.
Yeah, it would focus more on Zemo, and then you could also play with the idea of how much can Sam and Bucky trust Zemo, knowing that...
Is he setting this up for them, or is he setting this up for his own doing?
Yeah. Whereas with Sharon, they immediately trust Sharon. Yeah. The second they see her, they're like,
exactly.
oh, we need your help.
Oh, snap. Yeah, exactly. That's what Bucky, after like saying 3 things to her, Bucky's like, we need your help, Sharon.
And especially when she's like, oh, fuck you guys. And he's like, wait, we need your help.
Yeah,
and she's
exactly.
like,
she's like, I'm still on the motherfucking run.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
She's like, I guess I'll take back my fuck you, follow me instead. And I'm like, that...
It's like Bucky, yeah, exactly. She's like, I'm still on the fucking run, okay? Like, I haven't been pardoned and shit. Bucky's like, damn, that's fucked up. It really is. but we need your help. Yeah, but we need your fucking help, okay? See, and that's the thing. That's what it seems like. Not only with Sharon Carter, but also with Sam. Whatever Bucky says triumphs everything. Yeah. He's the one that got Zemo out. Sharon, it's fucked up what you're going through, but we need your help, okay? So, I don't know. It's like, Bucky's like, we need your help. Dude, we know you broke the law. Sam, sorry, man, but can you do it again? Sharon, we know you're still on the run, but really can use your help. And after all that, it's like, they're not thinking, it's like, Bucky, you're the one that killed all these people as the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
How is it that all of a sudden, like, what you need and what you want is the direction to go? Like, without wholeheartedly discussing it with Sam, but yet you're giving Sam shit for turning down the shield. Like,
sure.
Yeah, that structure is like, it's more tipped towards like Bucky than Sam. I don't know. Like, it's kind of a weird thing to go through. Like,
and like, part of me wants to argue that it should be because they're operating in the shadows for this episode, which is much more something that Bucky's comfortable with. Having been the Winter Soldier, Sam should feel out of place. He should feel uncomfortable. I didn't think they were going to go with Smiling Tiger. I thought they were going to go with Snap Wilson, because there was
Snap Wilson.
There was a brief period of comics where
kind of like an ode to.
Well, there was a period in the comics where Sam was, depending on what you're reading and which explanation you prefer, Sam was either undercover or he had been cosmic cubed by the Red Skull into being a crime boss called Snap Wilson. And he dressed like a pimp. He looked like a 1970s era crime boss. And that's like, when I saw him in the suit, I was like, it's Snap Wilson. Oh my god.
And maybe that was kind of a thing.
And they were like, no, you're Smiling Tiger.
You're
and I was
Smiling Tiger. It's like, oh man.
Oh, okay, cool, I guess. It's not, that has nothing to do with this character, but that's fine.
Snap Wilson's too close to Sam Wilson.
Yeah.
Maybe like they were kind of doing an
just
ode when
Snap,
when he said he looked like a pimp.
Which is, like, I think this is kind of 2 references in one.
He does look like me.
He looked fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would agree that Sam should have felt out of place, but
I love these.
But even then, his concern for that episode wasn't, Bucky, maybe you went too far. Yeah. It was, man, they sure did fuck Isaiah over, right? Like, no, like, I feel like if anything, the episode should have ended with either Zemo or Nagel pushing Bucky too far. Bucky shoots Nagel, and then as an audience, you have to figure, did he do it because Zemo told him to? Did he do it because he was emotionally compromised? Did he do it to stop this guy from making more super soldiers? And then Sam would be asking those questions, going like, man, like, when we lean into the darkness, like, shit gets bad.
That's the thing, though. Did Zemo not want him to reveal more shit, and that's why he shot him? does Zemo know something that they don't know, and that this guy knows, but this guy doesn't know that Zemo knows, and Zemo felt he was about to spill the beans, and he just fucking shot him, and that's why they were like, "What are you doing?" And you know, it's possible that like Zemo was afraid that he could have revealed more than he let on.
And it's interesting that nobody says crap to Zemo about doing it afterwards.
Exactly.
They're just sitting on the plane going, "Man, Isaiah."
It's like, damn.
Like, no one grabs him by the coat and is like, "Why did you shoot him then?"
Did you shoot him?
Like
when he was about to reveal a lot more shit.
Yes.
Yeah, nobody questions Zemo. It's like, I am a Baron, I am Reach.
Yeah. And if anybody should be questioning him,
it's like,
it's
damn.
Sam and Bucky.
Yeah, it's like, this fuck. Like, that's the thing. It happened right after Zemo shot him.
Yeah.
And Sam was like, man, Isaiah got fucked, bro. Like, he was only referring to him as a test subject. Nobody talks about, like, Zemo just shot this fucking guy right in the middle of revealing a bunch of shit. For
seemingly no reason.
Yeah, for seemingly no fucking reason whatsoever. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They don't bring that shit up.
It felt like he shot him for we need dramatic story reasons more than actual plot reasons.
And that's the thing. It's almost like, oh, maybe I should bring up like if Zemo shot the guy or not. No, Zemo shows up. I got a new fucking car, guys.
Yeah.
Check this dope ass shit out, man.
Yeah.
It's a fucking convertible.
And
look how clean this shit is. All right, wait a minute. What the fuck? What did he just do?
Yeah. Did he just kill our only
He just got a really nice fucking car right now. All right, we gotta get in this shit. Zemo, you going back to jail?
He's got a nice car. Got a nice ride. I don't have enough legroom. This is bullshit.
All right, you're still not gonna push up your seat.
Man, they fucked Isaiah.
They fucked my legroom. They fucked Isaiah. Like, fuck Zemo just shot a scientist dude who recreated a super soldier serum in the fucking head without even questioning it, and we're not gonna question it. Fuck that. I ain't got no legroom. And it's really fucked up what happened to Isaiah.
Yeah, like
holy shit, man.
Where's the moment where he grabs Zemo by like the coat and he's like, "Why did you do that?
Shoot him? Exactly.
Right then, why did you do that? You.
Yeah, they don't even question that.
And even if you go with the idea of you have Bucky going, "We need him. We need answers. He's the best lead we have," kind of thing.
Unless they do in the next episode, I don't know. And they were saving for it.
Which like, really, still. You're gonna wait like however flipping long hours you have on that plane flight from Madripoor, which is in the flipping Pacific Ocean.
It's like, yo, we gotta ask Zemo
to like Latvia.
Why he shot that dude. It's like, now you want to ask that? That shit was like 2 days ago.
Yeah, you took a nap and had dinner with him like twice. Yeah. Like
in my private jet.
Like, it's
like, oh shit. It's like in the middle of that lobster. I was just thinking to myself, didn't he just shoot a guy the other day? It's like, I don't know. I got into my fucking lobster tail and steak, my surf and turf. And I didn't figure out.
He's eating and he's like, I think this lobster's bad, guys.
This lobster's bad. I don't know.
Just like Zemo. Who killed the man?
Who killed the fucking guy? Who killed the fucking Dr. Scientist who recreated the super soldier serum that had a ton of answers, and he just shot the guy. And nobody asked why he just shot the dude. Who cares? No, he's not a villain. He's not a villain. I don't know. That was kind of a little open-ended.
And I'm even fine with him killing the guy because Zemo wouldn't want there to be more super soldiers.
Exactly. Zemo would kill the guy, but not having a reaction to that.
And I get it. They were in a firefight. Things got dangerous real quick. But again, you have him pull up in the car and you have Sam pull him out of the fucking car and like slam him onto the hood and be like, "You're going back to jail." And then Bucky defends him, and then he goes, "Are you the Winter Soldier or are you Steve's best friend? What are we doing right now? Are we helping him eliminate soldiers, scientists?
Yeah,
or are we catching bad guys because this guy's a bad guy?"
Exactly. And if they did need to get out of there in a hurry because of the firefight, then have Sam bring up something like, "We're not going to forget that you just shot that guy. Yeah. You know, we got to get out of here now, but still, we're going to talk about that shit."
And that's do that scene at the plane. Like they get onto the plane and they get into the air, and then Sam like throws him in the seat, and he's like, and then he gets upset.
Why'd you shoot this? Yeah, exactly. Like, no, just forget he shot this dude.
Just
forget that Zemo was the one that shot this.
Man, Isaiah, that was fucked up.
Yeah, it's like, damn, man.
That's been sticking with me for 3 days.
Man, he didn't even say his name. It's like Zemo shoots this guy in the head. No, he did not. He didn't even say Isaiah's name.
Didn't even say his name.
He
doesn't even know who he is.
Man, the guy bleeding on the floor. That's it. That's it. Damn, they did Isaiah wrong.
Yeah, like I said,
the guy bleeding out on the floor.
This episode was definitely the most like plot written episode as opposed to the character written episodes we had been getting. God, I feel bad I feel bad being this upset about it, but like again, we clearly both of us expect a lot from the MCU
we even,
projects.
like usually most episodes we watch kind of over again, and with this one,
I normally don't.
Yeah, he normally.
I'm normally satisfied
doesn't.
with one watch.
Yeah, I usually watch it twice. He only watches it once, but I don't know. We were kind of both thinking to ourselves without even realizing it to each other that like we felt like we had to watch the episode again just to see if there was somewhat of a difference after the second showing. There wasn't a particular difference. Like after the second showing, I still felt that it was a little jumbled.
Well, I watched it again so that I could figure out why my first viewing didn't sit well with me. Because like I said, don't get me wrong, like especially on the first viewing, like the moments, like again, and as a Zemo fan, like the Zemo moments, I was flying high. The Princess Bar, Madripoor, the music. I got caught up in all of it watching it, and then it ended, and I was kind of sitting there going like, yeah, but it didn't work. Like I had a good time, but that didn't. Something was weird, and so I watched it again now, doing the critical analysis of like, oh, this didn't make sense. Yeah. Why would you make this point here? Why did this character repeat this information or whatever? And again, this is such a small thing, but when Bucky's like, let me walk you through a hypothetical situation, and then he repeats himself, can I walk you through a hypothetical situation? Didn't sound like something Bucky would say. Yeah. And that's such a nitpick
like
thing to do.
Thing.
But like it's still enough for me to be like, I don't think the writing in this episode was as tight as the previous episodes. And I mean, it's a little stupid to complain about because the whole show's done, otherwise it wouldn't be airing. It's not like they can make episodes 4, 5, and 6 better now. But yeah, again, I still had a good time. I still enjoyed it.
It was an enjoyable
I wish
episode.
I enjoyed it more.
Like we said, the parts with Zemo were really cool. He's a great villain. But yeah, wish we could have enjoyed it a little more, but hey, hopefully the next episode is a lot better.
Yeah, hopefully we'll start to see these plot threads come together. We'll focus back down a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Do whatever it is we're doing here.
Maybe after all this episode, we could go back and watch it, and maybe it might turn out a little better. Who knows?
Yeah, once we see the whole structure, it might change. How I feel about it, because that's
exactly. We're still giving props to it. Yeah. We are. Like we said, it wasn't bad. It's just story structure wise, it could have been a little better. It could have
could have been tighter.
Yeah, it could have been a lot tighter, especially with it being a little longer.
Do more with that time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we kind of felt like it kind of lost the Falcon and Winter Soldier vibe after the first 2 episodes, but they wanted to introduce a lot into this episode, and some of it worked, some of it didn't. But overall,
it'll depend how those elements pay off.
Exactly. Let's this episode's cluttered. Hopefully, in the next 3 episodes, the clutter kind of spreads out a little better over the next 3, and we get to a satisfying conclusion.
We didn't bring it up at all yet, but we have, I believe it was Oya, show up at the end.
Oh yeah, at the end. When I first saw the kimono be there, I'm like. Yeah.
I was waiting for my wife to ask like what it was, because I wasn't sure if she would remember or not. I don't see why she wouldn't. But I'm the nerd out of the 2 of us. I was like,
yeah, I was
Wakanda's on the case. And like I thought it was just going to be like a clue, and then we'll pick up on that in the next episode. I'm really intrigued to see. Again, is episode 4 going to star Oya now, and we get another whole plot diversion?
Get another plot thing about how they want Zemo, which is, of course, understandable.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I love that Bucky gets to be this bridge character now.
Yeah.
Between, like...
I was wondering when you were going to show up.
The rest of the MCU and Wakanda.
Yeah.
Especially given that we lost Chadwick Boseman, so, like, the main face of Wakanda is gone. And it sucks that he's getting vaguely replaced by Bucky.
And I wonder
that's still cool.
I wondered for a second, which I figure it if Chadwick was still alive, like I don't think it would be Chadwick that would be doing this. I mean, that would be fucking awesome. If
Can you imagine?
He himself was like, "I'm here for Zemo."
Oh,
I mean, that would have been dope as shit.
I have forgiven you. God. I have not forgiven him.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would have been so awesome. But not doing that is understandable, but introducing her is cool too, because of the fact that we first got introduced to her in Civil War, which, heavily had to do with Bucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, so her being in that was really cool, and I love the ode back to Black Panther with the music, the choop, 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 choop.
Right at the end.
Yeah, I thought that was
so
really
good.
cool. It's like, just to let you know, Wakanda's in this shit now.
It's typically in the comics, Black Widow is the spy character. She's the one typically plugged into all the Black Ops. The Winter Soldier honestly doesn't really get used as a spy too much. But I do, thinking about all the things that were going on and the way that they're interacting, this does feel very like spy espionage thriller. Yeah. I like the idea that basically our heroes have to team up with Hannibal Lecter to catch an even
basically
to catch an even greater threat, but then the powers of the world fear the Hannibal Lecter character, so they want to stop them. Like, it's a cool array of all of these problems.
Because you almost... And that's the thing, too, like Zemo helping them and Bucky getting Zemo out of jail. And all the things that Sam said that Zemo did to Bucky and everything. He did kill King T'Chaka, but even then, when he brought that up, you didn't realize that, like, Wakanda still wants this motherfucker, too. And then you see Oya at the end, you're like, well, yeah, obviously somebody from Wakanda was going to show up because Zemo is out and Zemo killed King T'Chaka.
As much as I'm complaining about our story problems, I do like that last episode they name dropped Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
This episode, here's Sharon Carter. This beginning of this episode, they dropped the murder of King T'Chaka. And at the end of it, we introduce a follow-up to that idea. Again, there's good story structure moments in terms of, hey, we're going to remind you of a thing because we're going to pay that thing off later. That's really well done.
Maybe if
one more thing on top of everything else.
I was going to say, maybe if Falcon and the Winter Soldier was 8 episodes instead of 6, then all this would have made a little more sense to introduce. It would have been more spread out. But, like, the fact that it's 6 episodes and we're not exactly sure how long these next 3 are going to be.
Well, and it's even... like, I've been reading some comics lately that are really decompressed in their storytelling, and whenever I finish one of those books, I can't help but go, like, man, in the 60s, these 4 issues would have been, like, 2 pages in a 1960s comic book. And I'll fully admit the character work would have been rushed, but it would have been intense. And I can't help but wonder how much of this could you compress if we had cut out some of those longer scenes, the as far as I'm concerned, pointless action scene at the end of episode 3. Because I like the idea of Bucky and Sam back to back having to defend Baron Zemo while fighting Captain America and Battlestar and the Flag Smashers and a Wakandan agent. Like, that's an intense action sequence. And these are all very hand-to-hand combatants. Some of them have superpowers, some of them don't. Like, mentally I'm going, that would be so dope.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
But a lot of what we got in this episode was characters having poor motivation for their actions, or agreeing to ally for poor reasons, or betraying for poor reasons. And I can't help but think that with episode 4, Oya's going to be like, we want Zemo. And Bucky's going to go, we need him. And she's going to go, yeah, but we want him. And he goes, but we need him. And then she goes, okay. And then she's going to leave, and the rest of the show's going to play out.
And then also probably like the same thing with Sam and Sharon. Sam is like, I'll get you a pardon. Like, okay, we'll see. You better give me a pardon.
Yeah.
Is, Bucky going to be like, look, we need him.
We'll give you Zemo when this is over.
We'll give you Zemo, exactly. We'll give you Zemo when this is over. And then, like, what happens? Zemo escapes somehow and gets away from both of them. And, Oya is like... fucking said you were going to give us Zemo, and then now he's gone. So what the hell are you going to do now, huh? What are we going to get now, huh? So, So I'm wondering how they're going to kind of resolve that, because either Zemo's going to get away, Zemo's going to go to Wakanda, or Zemo's going to get away, because I'm sure Zemo's at a fucking jail. Ain't no way Zemo's going back to jail.
Yeah.
Zemo's not going back to jail.
Zemo had like 3 opportunities where he could have relatively easily escaped his captors. In this episode alone, And the only reason he's sticking along is because he wants this super soldier situation put to bed. And I have no doubt that, like I said, I'm confident Bucky will promise them Zemo and Zemo will escape, which I'm fine with, but there's a degree of, is this going to cost Bucky his relationship with Wakanda now? Will he no longer be welcome there? Will they be hunting him? Like, again, just in terms of what does this mean for the character?
What's worth it? What's its worth? Like, what are you trying to get out of it? You know, like Wakanda has supported you for God knows how long. You know, and helped you out and everything. Yeah. All they want is Zemo.
And they did it on literally the word of King T'Challa. Mm-hmm. And you're now protecting the dude who murdered T'Challa's father. That's pretty fucked up.
It is pretty fucked up.
Guy.
Not to mention the fact that T'Challa actually saved Zemo's life when Zemo was going to kill himself. Yeah. The living are not done with you yet. So if it wasn't for T'Challa, Zemo wouldn't even be alive. Yeah. To do all this shit. God, it's incredible. It's cool. How this shit comes full circle. It's cool. You know, yeah, it is. It is. It's pretty cool to think about.
It's like I say, it seems like a lot, but I mean, the flip side of that for me is like, WandaVision felt like it had a lot going on. Yeah. By the time we got to episode 6 and 7, and we were like, how are they going to wrap this all up? Whoa! And like, I'll admit some things felt kind of unfinished, and some things were obviously left open for being picked up somewhere else.
But it was still pretty satisfying.
Yeah, and I think we'll see that here. I'm afraid that it's going to be more plot work than it's going to be character work. And that's what WandaVision did so strongly, was the character work, and I want that with Sam and Bucky. And I don't feel like episode 3 delivered nearly as well as previous episodes did.
I agree. It felt like they were they were kind of pawns in like just a bigger overarching.
They were pawns in the Marvel Cinematic Universe's hands. They were pawns in Kevin Feige's hands.
What was that? That's who are you trying to be?
I don't know. I think German.
I don't know if you were trying to be the worm from A Bug's Life. They were trying to be the little piggy from Shrek.
Oh my god! Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the 3 little pigs.
Yes, I don't know if you were trying something else. I don't know if you were like trying to be like Zemo at first, and then like kind of failed on it, so you just tried another accent.
I was just trying to sound like a cartoony like piggies, mastermind.
You know, stopping Falcon and Bucky. Anyway,
that's your 3 pigs.
Was great. Yes.
Sam, Bucky, and Zemo.
Sam, Bucky, and Zemo.
All in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see what happens next. Yeah.
I think on that note, we've pretty much covered everything.
I believe so.
Bit of a letdown of an episode. Bit of a bummer of an episode for such a fun episode.
Yeah, it was. That's the thing. It was a fun episode, but at the same time, like, you know, the more focus of the overarching, you know, introducing different, you know, ploys to the story wise, as opposed to like still focusing more on Sam and Bucky. You know, it kind of affected the episode in a way. So, I mean, the good thing out of this episode was Zemo was, you know, awesome and a badass. So hopefully it will continue on, but at more of a steady pace as to, you know, exploring the curvatures and everything throughout these certain characters. Hopefully, Sam and Bucky will go back to being like the main plot of the series, the heart of this, exactly, rather than just, you know, pawns of like the overarching story. Yeah. So, yeah.
Agreed. On that note, everybody, thank you so much for watching whatever this is.
Whatever this is.
Whatever. Again, despite this episode being a bit of a bummer, we still had a good time with it. There was a lot of fun in this one.
We had a good time with Madripoor and everything.
We still got a lot more to see. And again, so many cool things got set up in this. It's just a matter of whether they'll pay off or not.
Exactly.
But yeah, thank you for watching, everybody.
Thank you so much, guys.
Do the usual YouTube stuff. Share, like, and subscribe. You know the deals, I'm sure.
Hit that thumbs up.
And we'll be back next week with another episode.
Thank you so much for the support, everybody. See you next time.